You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Wayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
Ari.
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that airs the week of November the 16th to November the 22nd, starting with Puniru is a Kawaii Slime, episode 7, Sweet Bitter Summer, in which it is the Sakuga episode. They cranked up the look of the show. They cranked up the speed of the show because there's four stories in this one. And yet somehow it's less weird and less wacky than the previous episodes, even though it's crams more in.
Yeah, because it's more good looking. They get less room for like just fucking weird jokes and shit. Yeah.
They tend to be more off considering I suppose just look at the weird like substance changing kind of little visual stuff in there.
So the first section is the lads have gone to the beach for their beach episode. It's fantastic. Oh, we forgot to bring the main character.
Or any of the girls, lads. Actually.
Any of the girls is our most perverted child's main problem.
But I bought them all these like fancy like swimming costumes. If you could all go wear it, and said, "Oh well, we'll just go for a swim, lads." And said, "No, you don't get it. I pay for these bikinis, and we're going to wear these bikinis." It's like, okay,
I'm going to make the most out of my horny boy summer, and so yeah, boys in bikinis.
Yes, and flashback to the fear of being debagged around this age when I was at school. Are you familiar with the concept of debagging? Is that
debagging? What is a bag?
You've found on this before. Is when someone pulls their trousers down.
Yes. Right. Okay. I was too much of a violent child for anyone to try that with me.
You were no longer mint in box. Your rating is exposed for all to see.
And the reason Puniru is not here is because Mabby has entrapped her for swimming lessons.
I feel like you shouldn't take your slime into the pool, but what do I know? I don't know.
I mean, she can maintain some degree of solidity, I think, depending on how much. It was the borax which gave her solidity.
I don't know the chemical things. I feel like it's more borax.
Well, when starch make it more rigid, or
I can't remember which way it was. She had to make herself more rigid in an earlier episode.
It was starch, because
starch, yes,
like you would for a shirt, say.
Then the second segment is Kotaro is trying to convince Puniru to turn into something which is cooler in the summer heat, and so she does. And wouldn't you know it, it's making him horny. And this new form, because I notice this is the form which has the least elements of her penguin form in it that she's assumed.
Yeah.
Like the only thing remaining is the star, because normally whatever form she takes, she's still got the little top hat that the penguin wore.
And she tends to have like the little bag that is the penguin shaped bag. Yeah. But this is like her in a summer hat and a summer dress. Is like, oh wait, she's cute. Like not in the way that she constantly goes on about, but like in a I'm getting those feelings. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to run away from this. And so Puniru chases after him, not understanding his feelings, and assuming that it's some sort of game they're playing. And she's like, oh, you were scared because my hand was so cold, so I'm going to grab you and hug you and make you really scared. And he's like, no. And then he runs into the other guys who are playing Kick the Can, and he all gets crossed over with that. But yeah, this is kind of where the first element of the ROM, of this being a rom-com, has kind of properly manifested itself.
Yeah, it's the kind of track it's following is that this is like, your best friend from when you were kids, like, but now you're both growing up and you're kind of noticing them in a different way now. It's like, yes. Yeah. I'm noticing she's not just this grotesque, like, blob that I kind of birthed as in like a kid's science experiment some years back.
She's still that. Very important that she remains a monster, but not just that. More than that. Yeah.
So what was the third part?
She's something kind of blended in together.
I think,
of course, he wanted to go outside. He wanted to like go outside in 40-degree heat because that's that girl Mammy from class. She like asked me out to to do for judging for homework. And say that's his code word for a date. I'm just going to spring a free aquarium ticket on her. It's like, no, he's actually going to go through my homework.
Yeah, so yeah, the third part is them at the coffee shop when they promised to get Puniru a float, and it's a coffee float, and then Kotaro's worried about appearing as himself in front of Mami, and then Mami assures him, "You just be yourself. I don't like these bitter." She's relieved when he has a bitter reaction to the coffee. She's like, "Oh yeah, I have the same reaction. I like to sweeten it up," and then she goes insane with putting sweetened milk into the coffee. Yes, and the third part is the study part where they realise that Nampa hasn't done any of his homework for the summer because he's been busy looking for these
Hercules beetles.
The Hercules beetles, yeah, because there's like beetles mentioned in every single segment, and so he ends up pushing a plastic Hercules beetle into Puniru's head after she's turned into a scientist initially to try and teach them. That's a great design. She's got the
scientifically,
helix,
I'm very cute. This is for experiments to prove it.
Yes. Yes, and then he forces a Hercules beetle on her forehead, and she turns into a anime reference that I recognise the reference, and I couldn't remember what it's from. It's when she gets the shocked face is a reference to something.
Oh, I thought you meant the form was a reference to something. Okay.
No, the form might be as well, but the initial face when she's transforming, that is definitely a reference to another much older anime, and I cannot remember what it is for the life of me.
Right.
And she turns into a weird beetle lady.
Kamen Rider-esque thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The science went wrong and turned her into some sort of cyborg slime fighter of crime.
Oh yeah, Nampa, you can copy my notes. So he pulls his notes out, and it turns out, I forgot to do my homework as well.
This is all Puniru's fault somehow.
I think that was it. That's all the major points covered of this packed episode.
Yep, there's still sketches there. Just kind of orbiting a little bit to the emotional core of thing, but mostly just it's just sketches about things kids do at summer that you still do, even when you should be growing out of these things, like catching beetles and whatnot.
And it does that thing of like you're the awkward age where you're still a kid, but you're getting adult feelings and you don't know what to do with that. So yeah, it's doing a lot more sincerity with the premise than most of the rest of the show tends to fucking do. But it's looking good doing it. So
Yeah. Then we've got Ranma 1/2, episode 7, Hot Competition, in which we have a martial arts competition using rhythmic gymnastics equipment and anything else you can call a tool.
The rules of martial arts rhythmic gymnastics is if you go out of the ring, that's a ring out, you lose. And you can only hit them with a rhythmic gymnastics tool in heavy inverted commas, because anything is a rhythm gymnastics tool. As long as you don't hit them with your fists or feet or headbutt them or bite them, you're grand. Everything else is clean.
The definition just kind of more then boils down to I found that this is the best thing to use because it's whatever the ribbon can lash onto and pick up from the crowd.
Are you spinning it around with grace? Then it counts.
I'm going to pick up my brother. He's a massive tool.
I did like the constant cutting back to the judges going like, safe. Yep, your brother's a tool. Okay, that's perfectly fine.
Things illegal. And then of course Gendo. What's he doing here? No, Genma. I'm getting my dad's mixed up. Yes. Decides to make some tea. And of course, now there's a kettle on the battlefield, and they momentarily get turned back into boys before hosed down and turned back into a pig and a girl because they've chained P-chan to Ranma. My favourite bit is when they learn that this girl is called Ranma Sayotome, and Kuno's like, the name of my beloved, I'll write it down so I don't forget. It's
like, that's the reason, we're just many people in the city, could have people with the same name. Yeah.
People can have the same names. It's like, Yeah, that's. I mean, like
that's for like Akane going, you can't reveal a secret in front of the school. Like, are you fighting under your real name? I was going to find out, but I'm not worried about it. No, check it out. Look, they'll just convince themselves and say, yes, that can happen. I can believe that. Yeah.
It's unusual, but like not as unusual as I don't know, like different temperatures of water changing your gender. Like that would be weird, but we don't know that that's happening, so that's not a problem. People having the same name, yeah, that can happen. So your man's excited by this because he knows he's one true love's name. He's one of his two one true love's names, and your one is his sister is very pissed off about it. It's like, how dare you have my one true love's name? So it just enrages her further. Multiple dirty tricks in this. I did like the opening with trying to do the handshake with the pins in your hand because that's a tool, so it counts. Yeah.
Also, I've rigged the ring with my underling, so just kind of move it around, to try and
so you can't be ringed out. Yeah,
can't be ringed out. Just come back in.
A nice detail in that, like when it kind of like tears back the thing to reveal all the guys, all the other gymnast girls, like moving the entire ring. Like they have like bags of crisps and drinks down there. It's like they're keeping themselves occupied. It's just like, okay, that's cool. Good for them. They're having a good day. But
that's quite the right diet for a gymnast, I gotta say. No wonder they're always losing.
And chaining the pig to him was a good plan because the pig's in it. I was like, oh, I do want him to lose because that means that they're getting divorced. I don't quite understand what's happening, but that means that he can't marry the girl that I've fallen in love with as a pig, but he's not very useful except for blocking various projectiles.
Yeah, because he'd been beating up Ranma all evening beforehand, which is why Ranma at the start shows up incredibly tired. And there's loads of traps that the sister has left for them, including the pan on the head trap, which Uncanny bravely saves Ranma from by shoving him with much more force into a wall.
This water was meant for me. Had my name on it. You're just a substitute.
But yeah, this I think is my favorite episode because it's just fighting. It just made me go, "Oh, Kanikuman's back soon."
Yeah,
I can watch more of this sort of thing.
I know when like the floor of the ring falls in, and saying, now they're confined to the ropes and the turnbuckles, so we got to bounce off of those.
And it's not just like it being like a really well animated martial arts thing. It's the fact that it's so funny and jokey with it. Like it's just like he's been covered in boiling water. It's like it appears that there are two bodies we can see in that, and then it's like they get a fire hose on him. It's like, oh, don't worry, it's a pig and a boy again, or a pig and a girl again. Everything's fine. And swimming in the opposite direction to the fire hose to get back to the ring. It's just like wild, wacky shit. Good stuff.
Yeah, like but I terms of like things about this is the thing, this like which Ranma has gone too far now with the lingering shots of things. I don't think like this kind of would say old-fashioned revival or something like this is going to really be your candidate to do that kind of thing. Like it's been pretty like open about what it is and what it finds funny, like pretty much from the off. Like but it just kind of transformed partway through into something else entirely. And even then, it wasn't really that kind of bad by its standards.
No.
There weren't like gymnast leotards. It's just like, well, yeah, it's like having a gymnastics fight. That's the gimmick we're going for this.
Yeah, I would say there's just one shot which seems a little gratuitous, but when I heard what people were saying about it before, and I was expecting far worse than what I got.
Yeah,
but may just say something about the sort of things I've watched over the years.
What was the shot? Was it like a foot shot or something? Like
It's the one where it's shot from behind the Black Rose, and it's just her butt and her legs, and Ranma's on the other side of the ring. And it's barely anything other than her butt and legs.
Okay, fair enough.
So I think that particular shot you could point at, but there's not much of it, and that shot does not linger very long. So, but maybe I'm just a terrible middle-aged man whose life has made him immune to this sort of stuff.
I've seen worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's yes.
Yeah,
I've deliberately gone out my way to watch worse.
It's just weird what people can expect out of something. Like they're going to turn fucking transmute lead into gold just by watching it right. I don't really kind of get that.
Yeah.
yeah, this was good, and I think after this we go straight into another weird martial arts showdown.
Good stuff.
What? I've never done that.
Then we get Orb on the Movements of the Earth, episode 7. We must become Icarus, in which we get another character introduced. This is Count.
Count P.S.
P.S.
The younger, well, the younger version in his flashback. At least.
He's the and it's interesting because we've already met him, but now we're getting his fucking deal, and I like, again, it's the completely different perspective from every other fucking character on this whole heliocentrism thing. It's like, this is the guy who would be really good to get on your side, but he's absolutely not on your side because he spent his whole life trying to figure out this geocentrism fucking shit. And it's just, the maths aren't working out. If I figure it out, it'll be my great life's work. My name will be remembered forever. But I just can't get that math to work out. So come on, boys. We're doing the meeting. We really need to figure this out before I croak. So come on, get it together, lads. His main.
So that's the second. Yeah, it's the second half after Badini's gone. Yeah, that girl figured this out. She's the one. It's not the guy.
And he's just trying to trick her into admitting it. Several times he manages it, and she manages to just go, I mean, according to my master, he would have said that. And it's like, sure.
Well, like, your master is a pretty smart person to figure out something like this, and probably very pretty too, even though I haven't met them. I sure know to meet them, though, and see how pretty and smart they are.
The combination of his, like, social manipulation, it's the nicest you've ever seen him be, but you know he's being a fucking dick about it.
Yes.
And our big lad kind of looking at him going like, hey, you're lying to her. You know, like,
pipe down, rub-a-dub. You're lose for both of us.
Yeah.
I don't know, boss.
Yeah, and I like to think about what if God, as well as giving us original sin, also gave us freedom, and that all these things in place which restrict that freedom is just because people haven't been observing the world around them correctly. And then I like how P.S. has also figured out that she'd written the treatise.
Yeah.
When he encounters her crawling out the well.
Like he's known as like, hey, are you not fucking coming to my meeting? It's like, they won't let me come to the meeting. It's like, yeah, all right. Like crawling out of a fucking well, like that kind of shit. Sure.
Yeah, and he's like, next time you write a treatise, deliver it to me, not Colby.
But even he has some of the things that's been recited to her over and over again. It's just like, yeah, I mean, like the Bible does say that women can be like possessed by the devil and fucking do all that shit. And she's like, could those be wrong? It's like, the Bible isn't fucking wrong. And she's like, I mean, not the Bible specifically.
But then he goes, well, we could have been reading it wrong.
We interpret what it says, and we might have misinterpreted it. That's the other thing. It's just like and that shows that he's willing. It's like, look, I believe in this thing absolutely. Are you willing to change? Maybe.
Well,
that's how
she gets him with like the same way that Daddy got at her. That's like, don't you want that the truth is out there? Like, it wasn't about proving like this thing or that thing and sticking to it. It's finding out, well, which is it? That was that finding out the truth of it. It's like, and that's like. Get out of here! I will have you know I'm sticking to this too till the day I die. But then this thinks about like, I used to be a younger man, more flexible am I thinking, more open to new ideas. That's how I came to this to begin with. For love of the game.
Actually, studying astronomy made him the shame of the family. Like this, I went against the grain, going as far as I have to achieve this thing. It's like, am I wrong?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the idea, though, of that he's seeking the truth is how Jolenta gets Denny to change his mind later on when she explains, oh yeah, I was not supposed to have access to that information. So I can't do your help deliberately, but I can introduce you to somebody who can. And then who is it? It's Count P.S. And then Denny, almost like a comedy, turned on his heel to walk off.
No fucking way, man. That guy spent his whole life trying to prove geocentrism. He's the last fucking guy I'd go to with my wild and wacky theory that is totally 100% correct, and I should get all the credit for it, or 90% of the credit for it.
But she's like, but he does believe the same thing as you, as in the truth. He believes in the truth, and that's how they get to their meet. convince him to go and meet PS.
And even walking her walking them to him, he's just like, you said this was a bad idea. It's like, don't worry, if we get in trouble, we'll say she was a witch and she bewitched us. It's just like, we'll blame it all on the woman. Like, he's absolutely willing to use the patriarchy to fucking benefit him where it is. It's like he'll absolutely throw her under the bus immediately if he gets in trouble.
He's like fucking like a man from Thief. Like, well, never get involved with something you can't walk out in less than a minute. It's just
and then, because I accidentally watched the wrong episode, we get plenty more Camp PS flashback next week.
Excellent. Okay.
I was like, I don't remember this, and then I realised, oh, okay, I did actually watch the previous episode, and that's what's confused me.
But it's good because, like, basically, developing him as a character, you can see the parallels between him and all the other characters we've had who are stumbling on this kind of thing, where he kind of walks up to this guy, like, shamed by his family, but this guy's running this college. It's like, yeah, we're, like, second cousins, twice removed or some shit, and it's just like, another shame of the family, and it's like, hey, let me see your notes. These are better than mine. Have my illegal gold fucking plated Astrolabe. Yeah. And he's like, are you sure? It's like, you're better at this than me. And it's like, and obviously we know in the future, in the present, he inherits that entire observatory and on all the study that happens in it. So it's kind of like, so he was in the position our characters were, did quite well out of it, but didn't quite get to where they're at. And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, and he's obviously seen the same things that Raphael and Hubert saw in part one, is that he said, there's something wrong with this math, but rather than going, oh, the theory's wrong, he's like, no, I need to refine this theory and
clearly we're missing an
right.
integral piece to it. That's obviously the thing that'll fix it all, and yeah.
It's a thing that I've arrived at a conclusion. Just going to try and find the evidence just to back up that bias, rather than following the actual trail to the real fact of the matter.
Yeah, lovely series. I may be tempted to get the manga after this all finishes because I suspect it looks better.
Yeah.
I like seeing a nice running of a night sky, I won't lie. Then like dudes working on forbidden text by candlelight. It's a nice kind of a winter feeling to cozy up with.
Then we got Sengoku Youko Feast of the Uncanny, episode 30. Which, what does it say? As Muto struggles to defeat a Katawara made up of all of Japan's weather, it may take even more than the Black Dragon has to win.
How can you, how are people not fucking watching this thing? It's like, it's a teenage dragon fighting all of Japan's weather as a guy. That's good,
Who's
man.
definitely not being mind controlled. He's just here for the laugh. Don't even think, void people, that you have any weight on my decision to do this. I am here for the laugh, and that's that.
It's so funny because they're like, I thought we dominated your mind. It's like, yeah, but I'm a cloud, and I'm changeable and shit. So as soon as you dominated me, I was free, like as the wind fucking blows, and yeah, I'm just following it because it suits me. Like that's
also because. His motivation is I saw these two lads fighting, look pretty cool, so I thought I'd get in on it.
It's like that seemed pretty fucking sweet. They've given me the battle fever, and even proven like all of their bullshit wrong. Where I think it was Senya saying it to him, where it's just like, you're not supposed to go in and fight their fears. You're supposed to show them how to live with their fears, because if they can live with their trauma, then they can't be controlled by their trauma, which is like good advice for life, not for magical fucking Katawaras and shit. It's just like,
that's what Shinsuke has been doing, like, as well. That's like, okay, are you going to promise not to kill all humans? Yeah. I'm really sorry, man. I'm just like, I was just in a bad place meeting too many humans. I just needed to come down. It's just like, I know, man. I know how it is. It's about rehabilitation and basically. Yeah.
But so when they see, it's like, okay, dragon fought tiger, quickly take over the mind of the tiger, and the scariest thing they can think of for him is what if you were fighting 3 dragons, and he's like, well, I couldn't beat 3 dragons, so I surrender. Unless you're
but I'd always fucking try. But
I like to think of it like, if you guys are cool with knowing the outcome, like you 3 of you are definitely going to fucking beat me, this would be great fucking training. And it's like, no, he's accepted his weakness, we can't control him. It's just like, yeah. He knows his limitations, and he's fine with that. He's comfortable with himself. He's a big, muscly tiger man. Why wouldn't he be?
it's so insecurity there and all to pry into. He's just like, he just is.
Yeah, he's comfortable in his insecurities and everything, and that's like it's completely defanged them as villains in a really funny way. But also, this cloud is now a problem since it watched two teenagers fighting on top of him one time, and he's just like, "Now I want to start doing some punches." That seems pretty cool.
Yes, which is because he's then making Sengoku, maybe I was right when I was younger, and I shouldn't be getting into fights all the time because now look what has happened because I got into a fight that time. Also, he gets woken up by the Shogun as well, I think, early on in the episode, doesn't he?
Yeah. Remember who you are, boy.
The reminder of the kind of Shogun going like, hey, time to wake up, kid, and also your man getting the back rub from the local goddess kind of thing, and it's just like the same one who turned the Shogun into a sword, and I'm just like, if his girlfriend sees that, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
No, Shakugan's just like happy to.
She's just, why is everyone crying? What's going on? I've just woken up from being a rock and then mind controlled. So how's everyone doing?
I'm hungry.
And I guess your Tiger Boy, they're going to do something for him so he can get him and fight again. Presumably for the last time, because it seems like a really bad idea given the amount of blood that's pouring out of those two lads.
Yeah, it's like their spiritual power and blood is too expended. Like on the battlefield, you can see the blood part.
And then at the end, like every Katawara who's able to fight comes in and joins the fight.
Because the idea is he's a cloud, is Bansho, so you can scatter clouds. So we need as many able-bodied Katawara as possible. Like if you're fucking like got the shit kicked out of you, like stay the fuck down. It's cool, but just mob him. That's the plan.
Yes.
Great plan.
To which the cloud's response is, "Ooh, what a festival!" He gets some very sort of venomy faces in spots in this episode as well. Which did make me think they should really give the Captain Universe powers to Venom at some point in Marvel. He would kind of look like this, like Venom, but covered in stars.
And lightning and other stuff.
Yeah. It's an action-packed episode. I think the form of Bancho is best in the second half of the episode. I think early on he's kind of a little amorphous and just sort of looks a bit too cartoony blobby. When he's being a little bit more threatening and sinister in the second half, I think works better. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, like, I think I've thought at times, wish this looked better, but it's sort of like really putting on some nice set pieces here in the back end of it.
Yeah. And it's like, they also kind of giving you reminders like there is another fight to come yet. We've got to go and fight Jinka. That's actually
everyone's saying don't kill Bansho.
Yes.
He's the guy who'll get us to Jinka. Like, because we do need a guy of this power level to get past the barrier. And don't kill him, scatter him. That's fine. But
Then we got Chibi Godzilla Reigns again, episode 32 of season 2, which the translators just have to give up with the limitations of YouTube subtitling and just read the answers out on a Godzilla quiz and not the questions. Because it's a multiple answer quiz. You pick the right one, but they read the question out, but they don't read out the 3 possible answers.
It's mostly the characters reading out the responses that we kind of get the gist of it. Yeah, and sorry, it's the Godzilla King Showdown. It's good because Chibi Godzilla is a shitty quiz master, and that's very funny. Like, he's so mad at Getter efforts. Like, yeah, you read the thing right. Yeah, cool, good job. 1 point for you.
Yeah, because a lot of it is he thinks these are clever trick questions, and usually it is just one is the only possible answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hits the limits of the technology in terms of subtitling. Then we've got Dan to Dan, episode 8. I've got this funny feeling, in which Brian mixed up 2 arcs, and I was like, okay, I forgot this happened. I forgot Loch Ness Monster appeared in this manner.
Yeah.
And I was mixing up with the arc which will start next season.
See, I remembered it right because I feel like this is like I enjoy the comic up to this point, but this is where it really like hit the sweet spot for me because I was just there's some wild visuals. Fucking Nessie shows up, and my favorite character, the boxer shows up. So it's just like.
Yeah, it's to try to be fair and alternate and go, okay, ghost, alien, and okay, so maybe at times it's going to be both at once. But for now we're going to alternate between like the main focus.
Yeah. So the Serpos are back in the second half. The first half is more post-arc, uncomfortable teenage behaviour. As we now have a third teenager who struggles to speak to the other 2 teenagers while the grandmother stirs the pot.
But Ira learned some really interesting stuff about how men and women relate to each other from all of the books and videos in their father's den. There was some pretty fantastic stuff in there, I gotta say.
The fuck are you reading kind of shit was a good line. I also like the initial argument over Soba they were having, where that's a good fucking use of subtitles, where they literally push the Soba mouth-filled fucking subtitles that because you can't hear what the fuck they're saying out of the way, so they can insult the other person more. That's good shit. Yeah.
The circling each other like they're fucking wild cats. It's like.
Yeah. But even though you're possessed by a demon, you still have a human's heart, and perhaps the love of the most cute girl in existence would save you. Which she doesn't explain any of that. She's just going to like, I'm a smooch him. That'll do the trick. I'm pretty sure that'll fucking cure this entire situation.
And then they reattach testicle after the credits roll.
Come on, here's your fastball. Right over the plate. Come on, I'll look like around the park. Just see what you want.
Why are you trying to stop? Why are you trying to stop Turbo Granny throwing my testicle at me? Why does she have to throw it at me? And he reacts with
way to do this.
He reacts with the reaction of being hit in the testicle by a baseball, which being hit in the testicle, which is a baseball, I guess is the thing that's happened. It's a weird situation, but it is very funny.
He's just doubled over in agony, fun saying, "Is it back? Oh, it's back!
Safe. Yeah,
I can feel it."
And why is Seiko trying to hit his testicle away with a baseball bat? What is going to happen?
Having a baseball bat is one of her things, and someone is throwing a ball. I think.
Well, Turbo Granny's been talking some serious shit this week.
That's it as well.
Now he's going saying, "Oh, Vaughn, I'll Vaughn strike you out every day, oh," when Vaughn said, "Oh, that's where it's going to be." And this is how, like, they get this little granny rivalry, but it turns into a granny frenemyship.
Then we get a bunch of high school farce between our 3 teenagers.
She thinks that he's avoiding her because he's like, oh, maybe he's gone off with the other girl kind of thing. Whereas he's doing push-ups and squats because it's like, I gotta get stronger to protect my woman. And then a different woman comes along and is like, I'm gonna smooch you to make you good. And puts in a compromising position. She sees this and it assumes the worst. And it's like, teenage farce. Yeah.
There was no time to regret that now. We've slipped into pseudo space. It's like,
Are we invaded by aliens again? That's the way it goes, yeah.
Yes, so Momo runs into the Loch Ness Monster, patrolling the hallways of the skull, and Ira and Okarun running to, I think, 3 Serpos who are going to remove Okarun's banana. And they've got a boxing alien with them who is foreshadowed by the little documentary they were watching in class about the mantis shrimp.
That seems dangerous to bring a mantis shrimp in a tank into a classroom, because I know those cunts can shatter fucking glass of the tanks that they're in.
Shatter like the never break plexiglass rulers. Like, oh, that thing was like, I've seen that thing jack up a car, like just cracked it like that.
But yeah, I love the visualization of the creepiness of Nessie. That was really well done.
It was really cool. Like, I love this like is the silhouette and it's the glowing eyes and glowing mouth. Where it's like it shoots wasn't the lasers, like, you see it took up all the water, and it's like the compressed, like, water jet cutter.
Like it's entirely using water except for whatever the fucking glowy part is. But like it's again the classrooms, the classes that they're stuck in are entirely like blacked out windows. But there's like a couple of inches of water on the ground, and it using that as like sonar to locate Momo. I was just like, oh, that's really nice. Yeah.
Mm.
And then at the end, Okura is saved by Ira, who turns out has also got superpowers now, as she grows the jaw of
and the hair.
Silky.
Well, it's her hair, but because it's pink. Yeah, but yeah.
Yes, as a mask, and threatens these aliens for attacking her would-be boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking in an even more formal language than she normally does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm more formal, more sort of like kind of archaic kind of cadence there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think days are numbered for Astronaut on my 4 recommendations from each year list that I have on Anime Planet. I think it's going to get overwritten by Dandadan at this point.
I mean, it's tough not to. Yeah.
See, also has aliens, also has romance, but also has ghosts, so it puts it over the top. Yes. Damn it, we didn't have ghosts. That's unfair.
They had a spooky episode, but it turned out it was perfectly rational explanation for the whole thing.
Yes. Then, negative positive angler episode 8, A Family's Relationship, A Child's Growth, in which it is all about the other older character in the cast, who we learn is a divorced dad, and his kid's going to come and see him, and the kid doesn't like doing outside activities, so let's go and make him do an outside activity.
Well, it's more like it's not even like that. It's like, oh, he's like it's only in like 3rd class now. And it's just like he's completely lost track of like how old his son is. I'm in fucking middle school.
Yeah, or he's doing the cram school for middle school exams kind of thing. It's just like, oh, you're okay, and are you still doing things? Like, no. I'm not like it's so awkward and you feel bad for the guy, but I love the fact that it opens with him being a massive cunt. Like to the other guys, it's like, hey, what do you think I should do with my kid? It's like, hey, you could go
go fishing for like for guppies. Like, oh yeah, bro, no,
that's fucking sucks. That would be shit. A kid would fucking hate that. Your man's like, oh, and he shoots down every one of their fucking ideas, and to the point where the 2 that look semi-realistic turn into cartoons. The most cartoony one becomes realistic. She gets that fucking annoyed. Like it reverses that, and then he's like, I guess we could get fucking fish for guppies. What do you think, guys? I think that's a good idea. And it's just like
I thought so too. I'm pretty smart.
And so it puts you against this fucking prick a little bit, like in a comedic way, like. But then you're kind of like, oh, poor divorced dad energy of this man. It's just like
yes, but there's also the slight feeling like was fishing the cause of his divorce. I feel like it.
It's the way it plays out. It doesn't say it, but it like lays the breadcrumbs to suggest this is all his fault. Like.
Yes, particularly in the end, the sad ending, when his way of dealing with this is to organise a fishing trip.
Yeah.
Like, man, you're not on shift tomorrow. I know that because I do it the roster. So, come on, we're going to go some fishing. You will. Come on. From sea bream like this big, man, over 0.5 meter, I swear to God.
Like the thing of, it's like, hey, do you remember that time we went fishing with mother, and it was back when we weren't divorced and we were a happy family? And the kid's like, yes. You forgot lunch. It sucked. We hated it. Man was furious. And it's just like, I gotta fish this big. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
The even starting thing about it is that this is like, the child is now he's going into middle school, sure, but like he's just who's meant to be the adult here. He's just way more kind of like keyed in on the fucking mood of this thing. And it's just like, it's not about what we do, Dad. It's about like, I don't big into fishing either, and may blame it in some regards, but I enjoy doing it with you. I enjoy being with you, because when he lights up his phone and his dad goes, oh, like, this is like actually just do this kind of route. He's actually talking passionately about like what his interests are. It's like we're seeing his dad like happy and knowledgeable about something and competent at something as well.
Yeah. It's the thing of like the little contest where they make if you can catch the black sea bream or whatever, like that's this big, then we'll totally do it. And it's like, there's no fucking way he's going to catch it. That kind of setting himself up an impossible task just to give him a little bit of hope, because he's like, all right, instead of like it being, I'll buy you whatever you want, it's like, don't don't bribe the kid. He's a divorced kid. He doesn't need that kind of like attention. He's like, if I catch that fish, will you move back in with mom and me? And it's just like, it's like it's an impossible task. So yeah, fuck it, why not? Catches the cunting fish.
Yep.
He actually knows the conditions under which to catch the fish because he is also interested in fishing because he likes his dad and he likes what his dad does, which is fishing. It's the thing he does well anyway. And he's kind of like, can we put the fish back? And it's like, why? Because it's like, because then the day will be over if I've.
My dad wasn't here. My dad didn't even see it. Well, actually, he did see it. He saw the whole thing.
He saw the whole thing. Yeah, and it's upsetting, but it's nice in that they're trying to make a connection. They're both fucking failing. One is a child, so he has plenty of excuses. The other fucking cunt has no goddamn excuse.
That I think again, the young lad is doing really fucking hard. He's doing really well here.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. Also, he's acting as a warning for Sasaki if he lives past his 2 years. It's like, this is what you could turn into because we already know you've got an addictive personality. You're going to get addicted to catching fish. Yeah. I was like, this is what I was hoping for about this time of the series. Is we get in these episodes where it's like, this is this background character's story.
And I also learned that it's rock goby. Those are the fucking fish I caught. I thought it was pollock and rockfish for years and years. It's like, no, it's rock goby is what I was catching at the seaside when I was small.
An educational program this is.
Then we've got Mecha-Ude, episode 8. Your legs are too slow.
Which seems like it would be an ironic title because, it's robotic arms, that kind of thing. But it's as with all the titles, it's a thing a character says to another person during the episode.
Well, they do work pretty well as legs, but if you got two of them, Aki, we can't all do this. But it's like, just have arms full like that, and you like at the hands just do all the running for you. Like that's pretty good actually. Didn't think of this sooner.
Yeah, lots of fighting in this after the initial part where it's, we're going to open this gate, we're going to go to this other world, we're going to enslave them all like you, Alma. And I was like, that's not a gate. Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
And not before the younger brother kind of gets us like, I was worried about you. You were a big brother? Is that I was worried the public would see how shit you are and how much of a failure you are and how much you disappoint me. It's just like, wow, fucking. Yeah.
Well, before the older brother showed up, the little brother has gone, I didn't realise this about my brother, that he was this stupid.
Yeah. It's like, I thought I was helping you do a smart thing, not like unleash a monster. And it's like, yeah. And wouldn't you know it? It turns into a big hand. It bursts through the top of their building and everyone's like, that's
shooting
bad.
Lasers everywhere.
That's extremely bad.
Let's run away and get on this helicopter. It takes us ages to get off and enough time for everybody else to show up, get into fights. Even Doc Glasses. I forget that he's called Doc Glasses.
He's in on her phone as Doc Glasses and everything. Like she does not know his name.
Yeah. Everybody gets a fight. And it's all played out pretty. The guy in the hat takes Jun away and he's going to give him another arm by the looks of things.
I think he's trying to kind of get across to the and saying like, maybe you've taught that, learn the power of friendship because you shouldn't be enslaving like your Mecha-Ude as your partner. They're keeping you alive.
We get more of the middle-aged guy who only wants to work the allotted hours he's being paid for.
He's super bad. I liked his thing. It was initially like a whip-like tail kind of thing, but then it turns into a scabbard, like by going rigid, and he pulls the sword out of it, and I was like, that's cool, and this guy's super badass, and he's like, well, that's my hours. I'm gonna bounce if that's cool. Like, I'm good.
Well, I guess Aki got off lucky that time. He didn't put an overtime. She was at her number.
Yeah. They appear to have given Doc Glasses the bruiser type big arm, which he does not have the energy for. But it's like
it looks like he just takes one off like a nearby like JCB or something, and
they were using it as a crane, so I assume he just pulled the restraints off of it and just went, "You're my friend now, crane arm." And the crane's arm was like, "Yeah, okay, fucking let's go."
Didn't have enough guts energy to.
Yeah. He's brand new to this. He literally just put that arm on. So yeah.
90-pound weakling.
The guy who's being dragged around by his Mecha-Ude that now has been unshackled, and Hikaru managed to get on the helicopter by an accidental explosion, blowing them onto the helicopter.
Yeah, even initially when he shows up before everyone else, he's like, "Stop right there!" And he's like, "Hey, Aki, clear this rubble away so I can get to the guy." And it's like, Aki, oh, I ran off ahead and didn't explain that to you. Hey, could you stay? Could you wait a minute? Your man's like, no, I'm escaping on the helicopter. Why would I stick around? Just everyone's being very silly in this crazy action escape sequence, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because the brother who's like clearly the villain.
Yeah.
This section, he's not really here for this bit, so he does. It's all the people who are being put into whatever positions they've been put into by the actions of the brother.
Yeah,
and then it allows it to be sillier, because then they prevent the vehicle from escaping, because the massive guy who had got 3 arms attached to him previously, he's now on the good guy side because he fancies one of them, and he can hold the helicopter down with his own strength. Yeah.
Enough to get our boy on with an accidental explosion where he has a heart-to-heart with his arm. Not before, like, putting himself in literally the line of fire with that machine gun arm. Yeah.
And I was like, why are you doing this? He goes, well, I feel like we don't do something about that giant hand. It might be bad news for where I live.
It's like, you said I'm not involved, but it's attacking the city, and that's where my stuff is. So
people start telling me I'm not involved. I think I'm clearly involved. I want my hoodie back. That's what I'm saying.
And even him like bravely walking out of the helicopter, and Alma grabbing him by the foot, and he like falls. It's like, dude, I could have fucking fallen. What are you doing? They still can't stop being silly and complete clusterfucks. It's great.
Yeah. A great energy to the show, carries it through. You don't notice. I think once I noticed there's a little bit of choppy animation, but it still looked good animation.
Yeah.
Because everything's just bouncing and moving along.
And even with the choppiness, like, I'm always happy to see a new arm show up because the design is so fucking good. Yeah.
Yeah, when they're not shackled, they've normally got some sort of funny personality.
Yeah.
Then we got Trillium Game, episode 9, The Flower Way of Kabuki, in which our boys find themselves in a Yakuza side story.
Playing that host club minigame.
I did like the way it opens again on the present day, where he's clinking his glass with them as a billionaire or whatever, and it's like, oh, you're clinking that like a host, and he's like, old habits die hard, and they're like, whoa, what? You were a host? He's like, yeah, here's a picture of another host buffing his shoes, and it's like, what the fuck? And he's like, I can explain. It was in the past. It
was like it was just yesterday. I was just on the lowest rung of the lowest end, or a high enough end, like host club in all the Kabuki show.
He was doing the support stuff.
All my life, I always knew I wanted to be a host.
Yes, and to be fair, this is a crash course in being a host. This episode, a good chunk of it is.
And it's not only like being a host, because some of their clientele are hostesses, so it's just like, oh, they're also explaining the way their system kind of works from their perspective, which is very similar, but like there's a lot of crossover. And
but it's just the etiquette. It's just like our clients come in, like our guests come in, they have their favorites, and like everyone has this on. You never try and like to get a table with a girl who's like someone else's favorite, that's just like it's crossing like breaching all kinds of codes of conduct there. It's a real slap in the face.
You don't cross into someone else's territory in that way. You don't arrive late because the fees get extortionate, and that's coming out of your pay. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's a nice experienced host, and then there's one who could have a Dick Dastardly mustache, and I don't think he'd be much more evil than he comes across here.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's helping is his massive bouffant of a hair, which looks like it's covered by a Dick Dastardly type hat. But
he's the current top host at the club, but Haru is moving in on his territory.
It should be fine. He's got a birthday event coming up, so he should still take this month top earnings, that kind of thing. Yeah, should be okay. if not for that little shit, that new host who's just like interfering with my game by explaining an app to one of my clients, how fucking dare you? Takes him out to the back of the bins to kick the shit out of him. And wouldn't you know, Haru's putting out the bins. It's just like, hey,
don't do it, man. Don't do it. Oh, I'm not going to stop. I'm not talking to you. He just levels this dude.
The dude is quite humbled.
His abs is pretty good, actually. I'll give it another closer look.
As his face is badly fucking swollen, he's buffing his shoes. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
How did they... Because the problem they got with the hostesses is getting them to abandon their existing customers. I can't remember how.
So basically, they needed to make, like the app completely... You had to do it. The deal was too fucking good. So the way they did it was like they added a bunch of features on top of it, so that you like it let you like they 3D scanned a bunch of flower arrangements.
They're sort of preying on the FOMO because it is like, okay, we gotta get through to more of how we do it. Well, first of all, on one front, we just need to get just one big one big host or hostess just to kind of to go off on it, and then they spread the word about that.
So the hosts in this case the hostesses they have their birthday events, and sometimes they have several birthday events, but you tell the client is like, oh, the management make me do that. I'll tell you my real birthday, so you'll know.
It gets them coming back in.
And it gets them coming back in and buying flower arrangements for them, because it's like you want your favorite host to win, like it's the idol you're supporting. So
and with the whole 3D thing, of fun saying, oh, that actually would look nice in the corner. Oh, now I gotta get it, And if we reel them in even more, like it's like, oh, but I gotta get this now because I gotta have the best birthday event. No, better than the carries or whatever.
They know which hostess has like a birthday event, and they have a deal on the flower arrangement made for in her style on her birthday event. It's like, I have the deal fucking going now, and I can not only put the 3D thing and see how the arrangement looks fully, but I can use augmented reality to put it in place and everything. It's like, there's just too many steps to now that I've put it in the place, that's the perfect fucking one. And it's on offer.
And it's all but kind of put together by very low level, grifting or prepping for grifting now. Where Haru puts in his nice boy glasses and goes in, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take pictures. My wife or my fiance and I are getting married soon. We're going to add some good from my arrangements. I just want to get some ideas.
He's running around taking multiple pictures, like he doesn't know how to use a phone, and getting enough of a circular around thing so they can make a 3D model of a rough 3D model of it to do all the rest of the stuff without having to pay any fucking one. Yeah.
Those two guys really going to regret saying, oh, if they make that sales number, we'll shave our heads. They shaved their heads by the end of the episode.
I forgot, actually, in the prior episode, I did check. Your one isn't just being like, I'm just doing this because these boys are magnificent. She wants to break into this group, but you need 30 million in sales annually. Yes. So if she gets 30 million in a month, she's making them look like punks, basically. her main competitors, the best guys on the market as florists. And she's just like, now if I own that company, I make them look like a piece of shit. It's still a win for her, even if she's buying bullshit, which she knows she's buying, but it still works out for her. So I did
if it's bullshit and it works, it's not bullshit.
Exactly. And I liked her being she's being manipulated, but she's also manipulating and winning out of this situation. So yeah, good character. Good as a side character. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one bit which is a little we're tearing something out of the headlines, but we're being non-committal on our judgment of it, even though it's clearly a social problem.
I mean, they are heavily talking about AI constantly. In this whole
it's
fucking
not that.
bit.
It's when they point out the one woman who's addicted to visiting the house club that she's prostituting herself to come here.
I thought they were suggesting some of their clients are prostitutes, so don't ask people their work. Basically, is one of the etiquette.
No,
that's part of it.
Sorry, I must be remembering it wrong.
But no, there is an actual thing there where people get hooked on these services. No, hosts and hostesses, and all the kind of things. And it's just it's like getting into gambling. That it's just how.
It's right in the eye of it, yeah.
Because you might be encouraged to go a little while, pop under a bottle of champagne, and suddenly you're in too deep, and then you got to pay these dudes off. And depending on what kind of outfit they run, they could be mobbed up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, there's just the line which follows that is I very felt like And here is the author's voice saying, I'm going to be non-committal on judging this, even though you have clearly ripped it out of the headlines. Because if you look back to like October last year, there's loads of headlines about this very topic.
Okay.
I think more recently again, because I think the park where people are prostituting themselves has become a tourist attraction.
So they're trying to clean it up now, I'm guessing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
There you go. That's partly why I say it's a bit like it's like an A plot in Yakuza 5, to be honest. But it is very
passing mention in Trillion game.
Yes.
Just kind of doing business.
Then Noble Farmer, episode 22. How's it called? Farmer Snacks? I think
Farmer
it was
Farmer
about
Snacks.
Yep.
Ham sandwiches, can of Sidona, some crackers of butter and jam. That did us now for a long stint.
Like our initial thing of running through all the various snack breaks through the day, and her editor going like, "Are you fucking sure there's not too many?" It's like, I burned a lot of fucking calories, man. Don't fucking question the method. It works. And then the extreme bartering of farmers. She lets us take those seeds, and then we turn those seeds into jam. We give her the excess jam, and she gives us this thing back, and we turn that into. It's just like, yeah. It's very old fashioned in a good way.
Spuds come in many forms, like they're always in dango style. Like bakers were good at it, what have you, but it's spuds in a stick, always good.
Yep.
Soups and things. Yeah, it all sounds like it's getting very foodie. Yes, it's like it's organic system, it's organic produce, it's organic homegrown, down home good eating.
And then it ends with a tale of her as a small child attempting to make something.
She's trying to make
being referred to as Substance X.
She tries to make sugarcane candy, but she doesn't have sugar. She has sugar beets, and it doesn't work the same way.
If I boil it for longer, it will actually turn into sugar. No.
And it tasted so bad that the memory of it is burned into my. That's why it is a formative experience for me. I can't get that terrible taste out of my brain. So yeah.
I guess I don't think, while I come from a part of the country which for 70 years was heavily growing sugar beet and processing it, I don't think I ever had sugar beet itself pass my eye.
Okay.
I've been to the Sugar Beet Club in Spalding many, many times, because that's where everybody had their 18th birthday party.
Okay.
It's the hottest ticket in town. My knowledge of beets mostly comes from the Nickelodeon cartoon Doug. That's why I first heard of them, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think pickled beets were pretty popular here for a long time. I like pickled everything else. Maybe I should give them a fucking shot. So I don't know.
There's beetroot and the sugar beet, which again confused me as a child. I was like, it's the two, because my parents would eat lots of beetroot, but we'd also hear about sugar beet all the time because you drive past the factory, you'd smell the factory.
Do not like beetroot. It doesn't taste very well. Stains, fucking everything.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Okay.
Then the thing I didn't find time to watch, The Stories of Girls Who Couldn't Be Magicians, episode 8.
I'll be having the complete sauna experience. Yeah. Again, the thing a character says, so that's why it's called that.
Okay.
Let's just enjoy the great outdoors, because it's come snowing overnight and the lake is frozen. This magic thing, I'm packing it in. I'll just come out and be an outdoors person.
It's the idea that they'll have like a little extra days alone because it's so snowed in, it's going to delay the classes coming back for the next semester. But they can have a fun snow day. It's initially like it's 0 degrees, or sorry, it's sub-zero, I should say. But the fashionista guy has designed them the perfect outdoorsy outfit that will keep them warm in the snow, so they can frolic and stuff.
Yeah, that dweeb who's getting bumped down for the magic class is just like the fun and said, like he's pretty good at camping. Oh, I know we can put together a sauna. Like, have his back home. Just a job when you're like outside here in the snow and the ice.
We just need to find some igneous rocks, and we make a big pile of them so we can make like a little rock thing to pour the water over and that kind of stuff. If only we had one big rock. Fortunately, our heroine has slid into the middle of the lake.
Mirai almost dies, goes off in the lake by herself, of course, slides into the only hole that's right there.
A big rock floats up in the hole, stopping her from falling.
That's curious, but I'll just take this. Rocks don't normally float like that, but this is perfect for the sauna.
Yeah, and they enjoy intermittently going to the sauna and intermittently like jumping into the snow. The girls are wearing robes and everything. There's nothing weird and teenagery about it. We only have the dweeb guy lusting after one of the two twins as a standard, but that's fine.
When I get both of them at once, it's kind of a weird fantasy for them, especially when they do a full Russian style. They get the branches start like lashing each other
that was
across
weird.
The back of them.
Yeah, I've never gone to that hitting with the branches thing. I'm like, nope.
Just open up your pores, or kind of just like get more good steam into them, out of them, onto them anyway.
But even though our magical research knockoff group were initially put back indoors by how fucking cold it was out.
We're nerds, we hate the outdoors, we should be inside. Correct.
But
you win this time, nature.
Now the lake is leaking dark Hado, and it's doing that thing where the ice kind of cracks, and it's cracking towards us with its dark fucking magic, and it's like, alright, I initially used my little fucking magic tablet to predict the weather, because it's got a weather app on it. It's just a fucking phone. And it's like, let me just put a barrier spell on it. Did nothing. Alright, it's down to ancient magic, guys. It's down to ancient magic again. And
did you take a rock out of there that's like steeped in magical energy and use it for a sauna? No. Are you sure? Yeah, we
Not
did.
much.
You did all the things you're not supposed to do to that rock, coincidentally.
So our main heroine is kind of saying, is like, I can't do the ancient magic. I've sworn off magic as a New Year's resolution. And I can't immediately break a New Year's resolution. That's not how those work. Come on, we all know that. And
you just like, go and step out of it.
I don't know how I did the ancient magic that one time, but if we both do it, then we're bound to do it. So then we get the double magical girl sequence of them summoning the thing. It works. They summon, as far as I can tell, a fucking rainbow, and that seems to do the trick.
Somebody always asks what array should we use. The same one you always use, which is every element at once that solves every problem. Use that array. It always fucking works.
Use every element. When you're not sure, use every spice in the press. That's the way to fucking go.
Just trying to make sugar out of sugar beet, in which case, no, don't do that.
But yeah, they scan the rock with their little divining rods, and it's just like, yeah, that's got the evil magic in it. It's like, should we put it back in the lake? No. Let's hide it under this tree in case we need it later. An anti-magic rock. Could be useful, I guess. All right. Unfortunately, is he the principal, the guy with the capybara?
Mr.
He's
Harris.
the head of the
he's the head.
school.
He's head of the magical class. So
Yeah.
The principal only shows up occasionally. Like,
that's right. Yeah,
the announcer on the magic race.
You're right. So he's been watching from the trees, and he's like, while holding a capybara all the time, obviously.
Yes, announces to the class when they're all coming back. It's just like, no, like Miss Minami Suzuki is still absent, but we're renting a substitute. She'll be with you very shortly, I'm sure. If I hadn't jumped her and put her in a magic cage. Yes, it was me. We saw a little bit of white here under the cloak. We know what to do.
It's probably him, and also he kept using his right hand because under his left arm he's holding a capybara under that cloak. So it's probably him. There's no capybara wearing a cloak, which would have been so good.
Hold on, there's still time. That might still happen.
So he's trapped her in an anti-magic.
Strings all along on this.
He's trapped her in an anti-magic box. When she was leaving the granny's house to, I don't know, go smoke a fag or something. Like, it's just like, I'll be back in 5 kind of thing. And then he teleports behind her, swooshes a cape over her, puts her in an anti-magic box after teleporting her back to the dungeon of the school, I guess, as far as I can tell. But also her brother's kind of like, they're up to shit, aren't they, cat? The cat's like, meow, 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 meow. And it's like, yeah, I thought so much. But wouldn't you know it, the head of the magic thing offers her a letter. It's like, congratulations, we're giving you a test to see if you can progress to regular, not fucking evil, dark magic of ancientness for no reason. And she's like,
but I swore I wouldn't be able to. Just think about it.
Yeah, just hang on to that for a little bit. The dilemma of, will she betray the girls who can't do magic portion of the curriculum, where she's actually still learning fucking magic anyway. Probably not, because that's the premise of the show.
Yeah. Right, and then finally we've got Dragon Ball Daima episode 7, Collar, in which, would you believe it, they wreck another plane.
They're going through these things so goddamn quickly. I mean, the one that Bulma fixed, like, that wasn't her fault. It was out of the one element that it runs on that does not exist on planet Earth. And Vegeta's like, "Can you not make more?" And she's like, there's no fucking more on the planet, but fortunately, our guy shows up, is like, "Hey everyone, I'm from outer space, and I'm a demon. Come with me."
Yes. Indeed, true. Hop in. I gotta get to the beauty part before it closes.
Yes. And luckily, Bulma comes with them, so he's got someone to talk to rather than the two stoics.
Yeah,
who are just sat in the back,
arms folded, angry.
Just enjoying the view. Like, this is really cool. Normally I got to fight through space with my aura on to do this, but like, I can just look at it.
So the rest of the gang who are already there get pulled over by the cops. They want to search their plane for this spiky-haired guy with a stick.
They throw everything out of the plane, and or your one Pansy is kind of like, "That's totally fine if he was just hiding behind a chair." And Goku's like, "Hey, I'm over here. I'm gonna hide in a bush now," which is a great plan.
How do you do that? Goku can teleport. You can teleport. This is the guy. You keep this like making up powers for this kid. This is really unfair.
As an outside perspective, yeah, Goku is super OP. Yeah, we all knew that.
Yeah, this felt like the episode where Shin got a chance to shine, because it was like, he came up with this plan. He gets to do some fighting where they try and take Pansy away for questioning and torture, they seem to be saying.
He frees her like from her bonds. It's just like, oh yeah, yes. These are made by, like, the kind of like my dudes that I am, the military. Just say like, Shisha. It's like, oh, now it comes off really easily.
It's like, oh, well, you been doing it for anybody else? Oh no, anybody can cast that spell. No, it's fine. Just learn the spell. Anyone can do
those magic words I said, do that, and it comes off. Like, this, it's not a bother.
So they're going to inadvertently just, like, wind up like completely upsetting a revolution in this demon world, and like, we'll get towards our goal of like defeating this false, like, wrong demon king, not through like going over and punching him, but through like grassroots political action and actually causing an uprising amongst the people who take back agency for themselves.
And again, none of this is
Also,
Goku's concern. His concern is to get to that fucking guy, that robot that's mining the Dragon Ball, before fucking Vegeta gets there, because Vegeta will want to fight it if I don't get there first. That's really important that I get there first. But not before having a meal and taking a shit. That's very important to do before a fight.
I'm so privy to all of Goku's bathroom activities.
Yeah.
That's we know we're halfway through the episode. Oh, time to go for a shit.
I like the guy running the cafe saying, "Oh, is that one of those the gendarmeries planes?" They go, "Yeah, we nicked it from them." He goes, "Excellent, good on you."
Yeah.
Excellent. The constant questions from the small child of Goku of, it's like, "Hey, if you fight that thing, can you get the Dragon Ball?" He's like, "Yeah, sure you do, kid." He's like, "These fucking kids, man, they don't know shit. They think you can just fucking get a Dragon Ball? Get fucked." So he's very upset when it's like, "Oh Jesus, that child is trying to fight that fucking robot. Oh fuck, this is remarkably bad." The robot is very loud, unnecessarily so.
Well, I hadn't spoken in a long time, I'm betting, so just didn't know how to kick it the volume.
Yeah.
It seemed to kind of even out when they shouted at each other further. I think he's going to use a hammer on him.
Because initially Goku was like, "He's got a big hammer, he'll squash him with that." And he's like, "You can use your stick, Goku." And Goku's like, "Oh yeah, that's true." That makes it fair.
So he's voiced by the guy who does All Might's voice. Robot is. They've cast a guy who's good at being loud.
Yeah. He's definitely good at shouting. So.
What name did Shin take on if one said, in my language it'd be like
Nagare.
Nagare, like one said.
Nahare? Something like that.
Something like that.
Like when Goku said, I can't remember that. I'm just going to call it Supreme Kai like I always do. But,
yes.
Like, I keep calling him Supreme Kai because Goku keeps calling him that. I keep forgetting his name is Shin or another thing. I'm just like, yeah, Supreme Kai. It's just easier that way.
Yeah, because Goku's like very all in on like, "Oh, I'll call you that from now on," and then he tries it and he goes, that doesn't sound right. I have to keep carrying cool.
I'm used to calling you the other thing now. Like he knows, he specifically knows his name is Kakarot, and it's like I'm just sticking to Goku. Honestly, like it's just easier that way.
I got big handwriting. I mean, if it's better on forms. Well, I say handwriting. I don't know how to write. I never learned. Like, was this? Is it this one or the other one? Was just like, but Goku, like you've raised kids. Well, I was hardly ever around them.
Yeah, it was this episode that came up. It was like, and you have kids. It's like I wasn't really there. It's just like
it's amazing. Gohan is an academic.
I mean, it's because he has one good dad, and his mother really pushed for it. So yeah.
He's just rebelling against what his father did for him. Well, no, sorry, father, sorry, my other dad also let Piccolo down. I'm gonna become a nerd. It's like, no, my son is a nerd. I'm horrified.
Yeah.
And it's like Chibi and Piccolo spent all their energy making Gohan the man he is, but they just gave up on Goten.
He was just like,
he's just Goku again. Why bother?
Teenagers, they raise themselves these days. I think he's a teenager now. Anyway, yeah.
He is now, yes.
He's a teenager now, and just feels like an average, this fucking little grody teenage boy. It's like, it's like if Goku had access to a smartphone from a young age and say, no, yeah, of course he would. Because he would love fighting, he'd love trying to pick up chicks. Of course he would.
Yeah, him and Trunks have got the late puberty thing that Goku had.
Yeah. I feel like him and Trunks are going to be the most well-adjusted characters out of Dragon Ball. They're just like, most things are cool at this stage.
Well, yes. the thing is they saw before they were 9 years old.
Yeah.
Scare anybody else, but they just roll with it.
Yeah.
Because they come across more like typical teenagers in Super's story.
Yeah.
Like the expanded version of superhero, particularly, they come across.
Yeah. And the comic as well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is another good episode. Adds a bunch of lore, like Goku admitting, I did not raise my children. Good stuff.
Plot holes. It's like a primetime animation SBS page. So it's like, yep, here's everything you ever wanted to know.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's it for this week then. We'll be right back next time with all of the same again, because there was another Chibi Godzilla. So be good for that.
Nature is healing. Godzilla has done its work.
We got a bigger Godzilla, of course, in the form of Nessie in Batman.
Umada.
In this